Your past does not cancel your promise. I recently had the honor of sitting down with Ayana Ellenwood, a woman whose story will shake you, heal you, and remind you that no matter what you've survived, you are still allowed to have everything you desire. Ayana is not just surviving anymore, she is thriving, building, and rewriting what it means to be soft after chaos. She is living proof that your mess does not disqualify you from your miracle. She is changing the world by telling the truth, by refusing to let shame win, by showing up as her whole self and saying, this is what survival looks like, and this is what thriving looks like too. She is making the world a better place by giving permission to every woman who thought her story disqualified her from her dreams. And today I want to share what she taught me, what she lived through, and what she wants you to know. Because here's the truth we do not say out loud enough. Your past, no matter how messy, no matter how unbelievable, no matter how heavy faithing, does not cancel your promise. It does not erase your worth. It does not mean you are not allowed to rest, to heal, to love, or to build a life that feels like home. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine being 18 years old, holding your first baby, trying to figure out how to balance diapers and exams, trauma and responsibility. Then 19, another baby. Then 20, a third, three children before you can legally drink. Three lives depending on you while you are still trying to figure out your own. The world looks at you and sees a statistic, a cautionary tale, a teen mom who will not make it. But you look at those babies and you see your why. You see the reason you cannot quit. You see the reason you have to keep going, even when survival feels more urgent than dreams. That was Ayana's reality. She was juggling college classes and bottles, navigating unstable relationships and financial pressure, all while carrying the weight of judgment from a world that had already decided who she was supposed to be. She faced domestic abuse. She faced moments where quitting on herself felt like the only option. The weight of three small children, financial instability, and emotional trauma made giving up seem like the easiest path forward. But she did not quit. She stayed in school. She leaned on any scraps of support she could find. She set small boundaries in abusive situations. She explored resources. She gave herself permission to dream past survival. And here's what she proved: early motherhood and hard circumstances may shift the path, but they do not erase the possibility of education, healing, and future wealth. Growing up, she had seen unstable love modeled around her. Chaos felt normal. When she became a teen mom, she assumed this was just her destiny. Each pregnancy added another layer of fear and urgency, and yet also a deeper sense of responsibility to change the story for her kids. She completed semesters in college while parenting three children. She learned to advocate for herself in systems that did not see her. She started to imagine a future where she was not just surviving, but leading and creating. The vivid win was not just the diploma, it was the shift from I cannot to I must. Her story challenges every stereotype about Black single mothers, about young mothers, about women who start life in survival mode. It says that teen motherhood and ambition can coexist. It says that you can stay in the game, school, business, healing, rather than disqualifying yourself because of where you started. But Ayana's story does not stop there because survival mode has layers. And sometimes the layers include things we do not talk about in polite company, things that make people uncomfortable, things that carry shame. Ayana moved through a cycle of domestic abuse. She ended up locked up. She worked in strip clubs as a way to survive financially. From the outside, she looked like a cautionary tale. From the inside, she was simply doing what she knew to keep going. She endured physical and emotional violence. She faced legal trouble. She was exploited in environments where her body was valued more than her soul. The shame of incarceration and the stigma of sex adjacent work made her feel trapped in an identity she did not choose. Before the abuse and the arrest, there were red flags and unmet needs: loneliness, unhealed childhood wounds, a deep desire to be chosen. Strip club work and certain relationships initially felt like fast solutions: quick money, intense affection. Eventually, the cost became too high. But here's what Ayana learned: rock bottom can be data, not destiny. She began to see that what happened to her did not have to define her forever. She sought therapy, she sought spiritual support, she learned more about trauma and survival responses. She started intentionally distancing herself from dangerous relationships and spaces. She slowly rebuilt routines, friendships, and work that honored her safety and dignity. Over time, she moved from victimhood to survivorship to authorship of her story. She accepted what happened without letting it define her forever. And she began to share her experiences as testimony instead of secrets. The powerful image here is of a woman who once felt caged by a cell, by a man, by a lifestyle, now making decisions from self worth. She broke cycles by leaving abusive environments. She did not return to the same legal trouble. She replaced high risk income with safer, more aligned opportunities. Her journey offers a reframing of women who have been locked up or worked in clubs, not as lost causes, but as whole humans with complex stories, resilience, and leadership potential. It invites society and specifically Black communities to extend grace, resources, and second chances. And then, after all of that, after the abuse and the arrest and the survival, Ayana did something that felt impossible. She found love, real love, healthy love. After being drugged, raped, and repeatedly hurt while looking for love, she finally experienced a relationship that did not require her to abandon herself. She got married, she bought a house, she transitioned from instability to rootedness, from chasing love to being cherished. But let me be clear: this was not easy. Sexual trauma, betrayal, and the fear that she was only desirable when she was being used made it hard to trust again. Her nervous system was wired for drama, safety felt foreign. Building a long term partnership while carrying all that pain seemed impossible. Years of chasing attention, confusing intensity with intimacy, and surviving sexual violence left her exhausted, but still yearning for real connection. At her lowest, she wondered if healthy love was even for her. The turning point was deciding she would no longer abandon herself just to feel chosen, but she chose to confront the trauma instead of burying it. She learned to identify red flags. She honored her boundaries. She allowed good love to feel normal instead of suspicious. She and her partner worked as a team towards shared goals, like buying a home. And she became a wife and homeowner, not as a fairy tale ending, but as a symbol of choosing stability after chaos. The house is more than property. It represents safety, legacy, and a tangible answer to the question: how are you still here? She built a partnership grounded in respect, honesty, and healing. Buying a house was a milestone that said, I am allowed to be rooted. I am allowed to rest. Financially, emotionally, and spiritually, she stepped into a new season. This story pushes back against narratives that Black women with a past cannot have healthy marriages or stable homes. It widens the image of what love, safety, and success can look like after trauma. So, what does all of this mean for you? It means that healing is messy, but it is possible. Surviving abuse, being drugged and raped, navigating toxic environments while still going to college and still searching for love shows that healing is not a straight line. It is decision after decision to keep choosing yourself, seeking safety, and building better, even when triggers and setbacks appear. It means that you can redefine love, family, and security on your own terms, going from looking for love in all the wrong places to actually finding it, getting married, buying a house, and creating a home as a young mom with a heavy past shows that you can rewrite your idea of partnership, motherhood, and stability. Softness is not given. It is intentionally created sometimes after the hardest seasons of your life. And it means that your past does not cancel your promise. Getting pregnant 3 times before 21, experiencing domestic abuse, being locked up, and working in strip clubs are all experiences that could have become lifelong labels, but instead became fuel for growth, healing, and purpose. The message is that no matter how messy or unbelievable your story is, you are still worthy of love, success, and a soft, stable life. Ayana Ellenwood is living proof that you can survive the unthinkable and still build something beautiful. She is living proof that you can be a teen mom and still go to college. You can be locked up and still become a leader. You can be abused and still find healthy love. You can work in a strip club and still buy a house. You can be all of those things and still be worthy of rest, of peace, of softness. You can be all of those things and still step into your soft girl era. And let me be clear about what that means. The soft girl era is not about pink bows and pastel aesthetics. It is not about being delicate or fragile. It is about the sacred pause Black women have been waiting for. It is a lifestyle rebellion, a deep exhale from the Superwoman script, a quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. It is about learning to be soft in a world that taught you survival. It is about releasing the cape, letting go of hustle as identity, learning to say no without guilt, setting boundaries without apology, resting without explanation, embracing healing, wholeness, softness, and emotional honesty. It is about redefining strength, not as how much you can carry, but as how much you can release, not as how long you can endure, but as how quickly you can choose yourself. It is about protecting peace as a practice, actively creating space for joy, rest, and boundaries, turning survival into something sacred or supportive for others. Yana Ellenwood embodies all of this. She has turned her pain into purpose. She has turned her mess into a message. She has turned her survival into a testimony that gives other women permission to heal, to rest, to rebuild. And now I want to challenge you because this is not just a Yana story. This is your story too. Maybe the details are different. Maybe you were not a teen mom or locked up or working in a strip club. But I am willing to bet that somewhere in your life, you have carried shame. You have hidden parts of your story. You have believed that your past disqualified you from your promise. And I am here to tell you that is a lie. Your past does not cancel your promise. Your mess does not disqualify you from your miracle. And your survival is not your ceiling, it is your foundation. So here is what I want you to do. First, tell the truth about at least one part of your story you have been hiding in shame, even if it is just to yourself or in a journal. Write it down, say it out loud, stop letting it live in the shadows because shame cannot survive in the light. Second, take one concrete step towards safety and stability. Schedule a therapy session, call a hotline, look up a support group, update a resume, apply for a class or program that aligns with the life you want. Do not wait until you feel ready. Do not wait until you have it all figured out. Take one step today. Third, redefine what you believe you deserve in love, work, and home. Write down 3 non negotiables that honor your worth. Not what you think you can get, not what you think you should settle for, what you actually deserve. And then start living like you believe it. Because you deserve to be soft. You deserve to rest. You deserve to heal. You deserve to love and be loved. You deserve to build a home that feels safe. You deserve all of it. not in spite of your past, but because you survived it. Ayana Ellenwood is proof that your story does not end where it breaks. It begins there, and the next chapter is yours to write. So write it with intention, write it with love, write it with the audacity to believe that you are worthy of everything you desire. Your past does not cancel your promise. Now go live like you believe it.